bids, and the CBN has not met those bids for years. And this pent-up demand problem has been there for at least, to the best of my knowledge, 5-6 years. Yeah. Right? So, and it's creating, one of the reasons why supply will always be a problem is that, look, there's demand to be met. Before you start talking of meeting current needs, you need to clean up the past ones. So any source of inflow that comes in is insufficient ab initio. So to deal with that problem, clear the backlog. And that's what the CBN has decided to do. So airlines, for example, have accumulated $800 billion of funds that they've been asking for to repatriate ticket sales. And they've been unable to do so. And some experts in the aviation sector have said that's one of the reasons that tickets are unreasonably higher in Nigeria than neighboring countries.
If you go to Niger or you change your location, VPN,
because
get a lower price.
For those countries, for those operators, for those airlines, they will have to find a way to manage their sources of inflows to places where they know when they sell, they can send their monies home. You know, so it's almost a market way of discouraging demand in Nigeria. So what you have found as a result of that is that Nigerians are going to Benin Republic and Ghana to travel to London. So that way, the ticket sales revenues are not coming into those airlines from Nigeria, where they will have problems in sourcing dollars to send those revenues home. So the ticket sales from Nigeria goes to Ghana. And then they source their dollars from Ghana or from Benin Republic or from wherever else Nigerians go. And then they send their money home. So that's an example of how the pent-up demand issue is a big problem. So it's a good thing that the CBN has decided to clear that backlog. Now, the remaining maybe 1 billion, maybe they'll have 1 billion out of this 3 billion left. Once they've dealt with that old problem, they will then have to find a way to use on a weekly basis. How long will that last? Sometimes the CBN intervenes with as much as $200 million in 1 week. So we're talking of max 5 weeks, maybe let's say 2-3 months, if depending on how active they decide to be, before all of a sudden, if the real issues are not dealt with, we're back to square one. So what you've seen, the appreciation that we've seen in the since that announcement, basically, in fact, the markets reacted immediately that very day, just like you said. The Naira appreciated in both the parallel market and in the official market. And it was a reaction to this $3 billion. Supply is a magic.
Yes, it is.
It's magic. Once it's there, the market so what will happen is that the malams will know that money is coming. So if we continue to sell at the higher rate, we're going to hold this money and we'll make losses. So the prices, they will drop their prices. And, the Naira appreciates. So that's what has happened. I hope that the things that need to be done to provide a more sustainable solution to this will be done. I doubt it, but I hope so. So what you will have is, we've bought ourselves about 3 months of stability, hopefully. And then after that, we go back to square one, unless the CBN has done the right thing to attract supply. And I have been making this point that the problem is not just our lack of an export base. The problem is not a lack of our export revenue. There are several ways to attract liquidity into the market beyond exports alone. There's foreign remittances, there's foreign direct investments, there are aids, there are grants. All of this, money is money. The source and the nature of the money is irrelevant as long as supply comes. So what I expect the CBN to do is to implement policies, directives and initiatives that will attract supply deliberately and quickly. And I'm still not seeing enough of it. I still have this feeling that they don't get it. We're still looking at this from a control. The CBN is still looking at itself as a regulator.
The CBN governor said it was speculators. The reason for this, for what happened. That's what he said. That there were speculators. Is it right?
He has a point. Speculation happens. But you see, what I don't understand is why a regulator will think that speculation is a problem. Speculation happens in all markets all over the world. Speculators are a major part of the market. You have speculators, you have market makers, you have, just ordinary users on a day-to-day basis. Market makers are, in fact, a lot of times market makers are speculators. The only reason they play in that market is they're looking for arbitrage opportunities. They're looking for a way to buy high and sell low. Buy low and sell high, or sell high and buy low. Either way, they're just looking for those opportunities, and their actions will affect the flow, the direction of value, in that market. So saying speculators are the problem is so, I find that I try to choose my words. It's not really.
It makes you feel. It makes you doubt if the CBN really understand what they're doing.
So you can't blame speculators for what's happening. The speculators are a part of the market. It's your job as a regulator and as a player in the market to ensure that the speculators don't have a field day by implementing the policies that will discourage them. For example, if the more efficient a market is, the less opportunities for speculators. So how about making your market more efficient instead of blaming speculators for your problems? So it's a bit of a conundrum. I still have a feeling that the CBN is not approaching this problem with the right solutions. We'll wait and see. There were some policy documents that came out from the CBN over the weekend.
Yes.
Regarding BTA and PTA, and the regulations and all of that. And there was another circular that talked about price verification portal. And I laughed because what the CBN has done is to move in the opposite direction of where they should be moving. We need to move, I've been saying this consistently and repeatedly, we need to move away from more controls to less controls. The Trade and Exchange Department of the Central Bank is the one that issues guidelines to authorize dealers and players in the market on how they can go about their operations in the market. The controls from the Trade and Exchange Department have been in place for decades. They need to be reviewed and the restrictions need to be lifted. You need to ease those controls to attract supply until we do this. So, for example, the Form M, can we find a way to make it less difficult for importers to access official markets through, the documentary requirements are so strong that it pushes people to the parallel markets. So relax those restrictions. But the CBN has gone ahead to add one more requirement and one more documentary requirement. You're moving in the wrong direction. So, it just tells me that we still have some way to go.
Some way to go, even with the 3 billion that's been injected into the system.
Yeah.
Now, there is another news here that says why bank CEOs were barred from foreign trips. Now, they were barred from foreign trips from July 5th and August 15th. The reason is that some of these bank CEOs, they were hoarding the dollars, giving it to their people and making money with it. Since they've been authorized that they can sell at some of them were even selling at the black market rate, codedly making money out of this, so they had to. So we still have that to deal with. The CBN still has that.
These are the speculators that they're looking for now.
So still has this to deal with.
Yes, these are the speculators they're looking for. A lot of the funny business that happens in big markets are perpetrated by big people. The ordinary man who needs $10,000 to bring something from China is not involved in any sharp practice. He's just doing his honest day's job. People that can play and game the market are major market players. So the central bank knows this, and I guess that's why they've put out this restriction, which I found funny and good enough. I read somewhere that the CBN spokesperson said he's not aware of any such restriction. So I don't want to believe that the CBN would. They don't have the power. How can you tell a CEO, the CEO, is he a primary school student and you are the class principal or the class captain? So you can appeal to them to say, oh, please, the president may need your attention between this period and this period. Please don't travel. If you can avoid it, try not to travel. You can't restrict private individuals from exercising their freedom of movement now. So that's a bit funny. But the basis of the story is sound, and it's that the CBN needs to engage more with these players and perhaps read out the Riot Act to them one-on-one. Maybe get the president to meet with some of these guys, have a meeting, have a stakeholder engagement with them. The president sitting in one room with all the CBN, the bank MDs and major directors and all of that, and appeal to them on the one hand, and also, subtly threaten them. Because some of these activities, to be fair and to be honest, border on the levels of economic sabotage. The things that you talk about. When we had multiple exchange rates, for goodness sake, people would buy dollars. People who have the ability and the access would buy dollars at 460, and go sell in the black market at 750. People were making, that's why the former CBN governor Sanusi talked about overnight billionaires. You know, people were making spreads of 350 naira to $1.
Without
My
lifting,
goodness,
it,
without lifting
a finger,
one finger, without producing one gram of anything, without providing any kind of service. You just buy here, go and sell there in 1 second, and you are a multi-billionaire. No country can make progress that way. So, you know, this move is a good move. It's just that you can't restrict anybody from moving. It's a democracy.
Now, the question that is being asked right now, because today the ministers are going to take the oath of office today in Abuja. Now, the question is, how fit for the job is Wale Edun to pull Nigeria out of the pull the economy from the woods? Because where we are right now, we need a savior to come help our economy. And the minister for the economy right now, after today's swearing in, is Wale Edun. So we want to know this person for this job that we're all looking at, how fit is he to do this job?
Well, I mean, look, Mr. Wale Edun's profile is in the public domain. He's been in the public eye for as long as most of us will have known this democracy. He was a commissioner under the president in Lagos. So we're talking 20-something years ago. And then since then, he's also been a major player in the financial sector and all of that. I don't think that his competence can be questioned. You know, he's one of the people that you will regard in that cabinet as the leading lights, the potential leading lights. You know, I did an analysis of that cabinet, you know, on another station late last week, and I spoke about the good. That list contains the good, the bad, and the very ugly. And we have 3 or 4 of them that are they have no business on that.
Being on the list.
Being there, you know. Wale Edun fell squarely into the good. Now, when I said the good, I looked at 2 things. One, their capacity and their competence, and the portfolios that they were assigned. So there are some of them that are experts and technocrats in their fields, and they were assigned ministries in that field. So Wale Edun falls squarely into that category, and I suspect he will do well. Everything obviously depending on the support he gets from the president, and very crucially, the coordination that he achieves with other key ministries. So when you talk about you know, his ability to pull the economy out of the doldrums, we have to recognize that what happens in the economy is a result of an interplay of activities, interactions, forces across different sectors of the economy. And there are different ministers responsible for those sectors. For example, power. How can you pull the economy out of the doldrums without electricity? It's not going to happen. Your effort will always achieve only limited results if you are unable to power your economy. That's why all countries that are pursuing development make generation of power a key focus of their policy. You know, so you have Egypt, for example. Egypt here in this same Africa producing 60,000 megawatts of electricity. You know, for perspective, we are producing 5,000. So power is a critical. South Africa produced with a 60 million population. Were producing at a point up to 60,000 megawatts as well. They fell down to 40,000 megawatts at a point, and it became a national crisis. They had a national power crisis. Imagine that, 40,000 megawatts of power, and they had a crisis. Where we produce, we distribute 5,000. We supposedly have production capacity of around 9,000 megawatts, but we can only transmit about 7,000 of that, if up to, and we are only distributing 5,000. You know, so. Power is a major one that the minister of that's why you have a coordinating minister of the economy. I like that role, because really to achieve the kind of ambitious growth projections that this government has set for itself, there has to be a lot of coordination. So you need to coordinate with the Ministry of Power, the Ministry of Trade. Trade and investment. Absolutely critical. Tourism, absolutely critical. The Ministry of the Digital Economy, absolutely critical. So there's a lot of things that will have to happen at the same time for our economy to grow. So it's not just the fiscal and the monetary side alone, even though those things are also very important. So will Wale Edun be able to do this? He is a financial expert. We'll have to wait and see how well he will be able to project manage. So the job of pushing Nigeria's economy on the path of sustainable and significant growth is a project. It's a project that will have to be carefully orchestrated and well managed across several different interacting factors. So will he be able to project manage? That is the real question. His competence as a finance expert is not in doubt at all. But that coordination is critical, and that's actually what we've been lacking. And I dare say, perhaps, it's actually the job of the president. I'm not sure this is something he can farm out to someone. But we'll wait and see. If the president supports him adequately, and he has enough brain power around him to manage that process, maybe he will do well.
Right, now we'll go for a commercial break. We'll go for a very short commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk some more. The phone lines will be open for you to join the conversation. In the news, we have that Benin Republic, Niger, Togo, they owe Nigeria 132.2 billion naira. We supply them energy, but they haven't paid yet. So look at the money they are owing us. So we'll talk more about this when we return from the break. Keep it here. This is the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos, number 42, Muritala Muhammad International Airport Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in a beautifully appointed rooms featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your everyday need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop-off from the Lagos airport.
Take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant.
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So, why wait? Book your stay today and experience ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort. The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and cold berry ice cream, delights in every scoop. Visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and cold berry ice cream at 11 Road by First Avenue, Festac Town, 28 Adenira Ogunsanya Street. Cold berry ice cream, Romeo, the pizza champions. Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Light Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
You are listening to your number one station, the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Do not touch that dial.
listening to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Is 1 minute before 10 o'clock. My name is Mary Onaife. Debbie, we have Segun Shukmito. He is a principal partner, Woodridge and Scott Consulting. We're looking at some of the trending stories concerning our economy and business, some of the policies that are affecting Nigeria and affecting us. And we've been talking about the Naira. I think we started with that discussion. NNPC secure $3 billion emergency crude for cash loan to stabilize the Naira. I think we've talked about that. And also the Minister for Finance, Wale Edun, talking about his competence. And now let's move to this interesting topic. It's stated here in Daily Trust and other newspapers that Benin, Niger, Togo, they owe Nigeria 132.2 billion naira energy bill in 4 years. Now, it's common knowledge that we supply these countries, a neighboring country, we supply them energy. But I never knew that they owe this humongous, amount of money, and we are in need of money. What is going on here? Why haven't they paid? I think it said that the number one, it's let me see. One of the people owing so much is Niger, Niger Republic. I think it's
Benin Republic and then Niger.
Yes. Benin Republic tops it, 72.1 billion naira. Then Niger, then Togo. They pay.
Look, in nature generally, order is compelled on nature. I like quoting the law of entropy that nature tends towards disorder, and unless a force or an energy is applied to it to then organize it and make it, become whatever you want it to be. So people tend to do what they can get away with, So if they are not paying, it's because they're allowed. Who is responsible for getting them to make those payments? They are getting the power. The electricity authorities in those countries are taking power from us and supplying to consumers in those countries. I am absolutely sure that they are collecting, the required payments for the power that they're supplying to those consumers. Otherwise, they would also not supply the power. We know what happens in Nigeria with NEPA, PHCN, or DISCOs, whatever you want to call them. If you don't pay, they cut you off. So how come we are not getting the money back? How come the money is not flowing all the way through the chain back to us? So there's clearly an implementation problem, probably not unconnected with either inefficiency or corruption or both. But for me, the real story is, this money we're talking about, it's not a lot. As far as I'm concerned, 132 billion. Well, we have trillions of naira in problems in this country. So how much energy are we talking about? How much energy do we generate? So this problem for me is not a major problem. It's just a symptom of the bigger problems we have, the bigger structural and systematic problems that we have that we're not dealing with, the inefficiency of our entire electricity industry. These are all just indicators on all the loopholes that exist. The fact that we have boxed ourselves into a corner where we have to supply power to countries, to our neighboring countries, even though we don't have enough. We don't have it. We actually have to supply those people. We have to supply Niger Republic. We have to supply Benin and Togo.
But the question is, why do we have to supply them when we don't have enough?
Well, because of our the common natural resource that we all share, which is the River Niger. So especially in the case of Niger Republic, the major reason that we are compelled, in quotes, it's a commercial transaction, but we don't have a choice. We have to supply them, because if we don't, then we'll give them motivation to dam the River Niger upstream, further up the river, and which would affect the flow rate of the water down into Nigeria, which would affect our generation capacity. So to give them an incentive not to dam and produce electricity by themselves, we'll say, no, don't worry, we'll produce and we'll supply you. That's the basis of this. So, and the reason we're in that situation is that we're still depending on hydroelectricity in 2023, when countries like Egypt have built solar panel farms that are producing thousands of megawatts of electricity, solar panel, where in the Scandinavian region, the windmills are generating thousands of megawatts of electricity. In China, there are entire cities that are running purely on solar power, 100%. We are still talking about damming a river and being stuck and being forced to provide electricity to our neighboring countries, because if we don't, then they will also dam it. Come on. We have natural resources around. You can just generate electricity from thin air, literally. Just point a mirror into the air and you will get electricity. Private homes are doing it in Nigeria currently. People are going off grid. Slowly but surely, people are living willingly, saying to the discos, I don't want you to disconnect me, because they are now 100% on solar. They have inverters that get charged in the day and discharge at night, so they don't need discos anymore. How come individual homes can do this and the government cannot? Or the government cannot find a way to aggregate all of this in a manner that it can then be efficiently produced and shared, equitably amongst everybody? So I think that's the real problem. We need to move away from water, producing electricity from
when you
water.
talk about
I went to see Kainji Dam as a child 40 years ago. Can you just imagine that? So sorry.
When you talk about this now, talking about electricity, I hear your analysis and you look at security, and then we talked about CBN, the economy. You wonder, where should the president even start from? Where should he start from in terms of taking us to the next level, taking our economy to at least giving us some breath of fresh air? Because it seems a lot of the sectors are not really working as they should.
Absolutely. For your economy to run optimally and efficiently, for you to generate 7% per annum GDP growth, and in my opinion, we should be targeting far more. The Asian tigers of the mid-80s, early 90s grew, some of them grew at 12% per annum for years, year on year. That's how they arrived at where they are. Malaysia, Indonesia, all those countries that one particular politician like to quote, and people laugh at him. Those countries are an example to look at, to see how they did it. We can't be targeting 7%. Our population growth rate alone is 3%, is swallowed half of that, and we have a backlog of growth. Our per capita GDP is still hovering around $2,500 per person. We're poor. We're a poor country, and we don't have to be. We have more than enough human and natural resources to grow at 15% per annum year on year for 10 years. We can do it. But for that to happen, you need vision. You need somebody that has crystal clarity about the things that need to be put in place. What's happening in your transportation sector? How can you grow your economy when you can't move goods and services efficiently? The key word here is efficiently. It's not just about fixing roads. The world has moved beyond the roads now. We're looking at how to move things by fast train, fast rail. You want a situation where you are producing stuff in Kano, let's say groundnut, and you need to ship it out of the country. And in 2 hours, it's in Lagos. That type of efficiency, you see, right now, it takes weeks for those things to arrive. So think about just the time value of money, the velocity of money, the amount, the volume of productivity that you've lost just because you can't get your produce from the farm to the ports. How can we export? So you need to fix our rail system, not just fix our rail system with locomotives that are still using diesel. I don't understand it. How can Nigeria, we have an opportunity to leapfrog, right? The leapfrog effect says that the people that start late have an opportunity to learn from the mistakes and all of the things that the people that started well ahead of them and are now developed, to learn from that and catch up with them. So you leapfrog all those developmental stages. We're failing to take advantage of that. Why are we building diesel power trains in 2023?
That are not even working efficiently because of insecurity.
My goodness, when countries are building bullet trains, China is a subcontinent, it's almost as big as Africa. And they are moving people in 2-3 hours across 6,000 kilometers. They're traveling distance from Lagos to Egypt in 2-3 hours because the trains are moving at the speed that planes fly at. you know. So how come we're building diesel powertrains now? Why can't we take advantage of that technology that already exists and, you know, to fast track our economic growth and progress, you know? So that's just using that as an example. Power is another one. Our revenue generation capacity is another story entirely. So there's so many things that need to happen if you talk about how to fix our economy and what the president needs to do. You see, for me, at the base of all of this is the question of corruption. If you ask yourself why, these things I'm saying is not rocket science. I'm not saying anything spectacularly intelligent. These things are being done all around the world. All we have to do is just look around us and we'll see examples that we can easily copy and replicate. Why are we not doing that? Vested interests and corruption. So that's why I have always said that for me, the first thing that the president ought to have been talking about is galvanizing the country behind a common vision of how Nigeria can be at the end of 8 years, in such a manner that when he decides to launch a frontal attack on vested interest in this country, he will have the massive groundswell of support from Nigerians that he will need to win that battle. But it's very clear that he's not interested in going along that path. So he's picked the people themselves as his first line of a war. The first line to face in an attack is the people ourselves. Because I have to put myself, I'm one of the people. So when we talk about the subsidy removal, it's the part of least resistance. It's not the problem, but I agree. If it's the easiest and quickest fix to a fiscal challenge, it's not the solution, but it's the easiest one.
Because, you know? Which is the people.
Yes. Because
so instead of fighting the corruption.
Instead of fighting the corruption and fighting the vested interests, he has chosen to fight the people. Why? Because it's easier, in quotes, to quell any resistance that you may have from the people. And we've seen that play out. He pocketed labor very quickly. So there are no strikes, there's no disruption. And then he's just going about his merry way and doing whatever he wants. But you see, this path we have chosen is not the path to progress. So if the president wants to see progress that we need to achieve as a country to become what we can be in a 20-year time frame, we've got to do things differently. The way we're going about it now, we're not going to achieve it.
You know, now the president has, it's been in office for more than almost 70 days. He has his ministers now, so he has his personal assistants now. You at least from the cabinet, you can see the direction of the president.
Yep, absolutely.
From your analysis, you don't think that he will give us the breath of fresh air?
The cabinet is a fantastic example of how we had better just mitigate our expectations. You know, that cabinet is spectacularly ordinary. So, like I said earlier, I did an analysis, you know. So I was able to identify out of 48 people, maybe 7 that are real prospects for, you know, intellectual people that are brilliant and that have proven this in the public domain. You know, the Bosun Tijanis of this world, the Tahir, the doctor, the professor of law. There's Ali Pate. You know, there are some really brilliant people there, you know. But they're in the minority.
You're saying about just 7?
Yes.
Out of 48?
Yes, out of 7, you know, the achievement of this guy in this area. They were just politicians. This one has been a commissioner for 15 years in this state, you know. These are people that just helped the president win the election or helped the APC win the election, and they were being rewarded. This, and then, very critically, there were some people on that cabinet, or there are some people on that cabinet that have no business being there. Bagudu is one of them. The man has a corruption case hanging on his head. He has all but been convicted for money laundering on behalf of Abacha. $160 million US. He forfeited to the United States government, you know, and the United States government.
That's all on paper.
It's there. It's evidence.
Public knowledge.
It's public domain. So I'm not saying anything. This is not something you can sue me for. It's in the public domain, right? How can that person be your minister of budget? He's the minister of budget and national planning. That is a huge statement that Nigerians need to take note of in terms of how the president is seeing the national question, what the president regards as important, you know, integrity, character, capacity, and all that. Integrity and character is very low. and I tell you, it's impossible to galvanize progress for a country as big as this without sound character. It's impossible because you will be compromised. The fights and the battles you need to win, you will never be able to start them, much less win them. Because once you step out and say, I want to do this, they will remind you very quickly. And you keep quiet and find other smaller things to do. So the cabinet is an example of how I think that the journey is still far ahead of us as a country. And I think we just need to brace up. Everybody find something productive to do and make the most of your own life while you can.
And now this is for business owners, because the business owners want to make projections. They want to know what's going to happen. What does the Tinubu administration holds for businesses? Let's open the phone lines so that we could feel your pulse this morning. 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. You could call in or send a WhatsApp message to us at 0700 903 903 9. You could comment on any of the issues we're discussing right now. Now, still in the news is about the palliatives. As NEMA, they begin to share the rice, they distribute the rice in states. It's been said that from Sunday, they are going to be distributing 180 trucks of rice to various states as recommended by the National Economic Council. So on Thursday, federal government announced 5 billion naira palliative for each of the federation. So 180 trucks of rice as part of measures to assuage the pains of the subsidy removal. Well, so I'd like to see how this will affect businesses, because the 180 trucks of rice, it means some people are going to have food now because...
How does this affect a business? Because, what you need to be doing is to create wealth.
We have
to drive economic activity.
We have a caller here. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. We can hear you. Good morning to you. Hello. Oh, sorry. Please call us back. 0700 903 903 903. So 180 trucks of rice. Imagine that coming to Lagos. What will that do for businesses, individuals?
I think the biggest problem with that is how will it be distributed? That's actually the question we need to be asking. Because if you can find a way to distribute it in a manner that it will go around in certain quarters, it might have some marginal effect. But the challenge is, unfortunately, that rice is going to be cornered. I guarantee you. It's going to be cornered and it's going to be distributed as patronage and reward. It's not going to be distributed to people that need it. In the first instance, it's a drop in an ocean. It can't solve the problem, clearly. Even the 5 billion itself can't solve the problem. So.
Let's take a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, turn down the volume on your radio set. Okay, I hope this is not network. I hope so. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call. When you call, ensure you turn down the volume on your radio so that we can hear what you're saying. Okay, so you said that's a drop in the ocean.
It's a drop it's a very small pin in a huge ocean.
Okay, we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mary.
Yes, this is Mary. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Hello. Okay. Hello.
Promise.
Okay, Mr. Promise. Go ahead.
What is really happening in Nigeria? I don't know what to say again. That's money that they want to use for palliative. If this government has masses, if they have us at hand, why can't they use that money and build industry that benefit everybody? Than bringing this rice and they will share it to parties, people that are very loyal to them and still yet to went back to square one. Why can't they use this money and put It's something that when they do it, everybody will see it. Increase the fact, the way of looting it, they have to loot the money again. Use this money and do infrastructure, people, agriculture, things that people that empower people and people works. That will help Nigeria not bring in rice, that will share it with the parties. And this time the whole thing is we went back to square one. They don't have any agenda with this country. That's the fact. They don't have anything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. 0700 903 903 903. We can take one or two calls before we round off the conversation. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. What's your name and the location?
My name is Mr. Okechukwu, calling from Aja.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, in issue of palliative, my suggestion is instead of them sharing the money, I don't think there is accountability. How many states of the country shares the market money, neither the school feeding? And if you come to the other one that's followed, the money that they borrow, ACO borrowers, I learned that it was the politicians that borrowed the money. Even today, it cannot be accounted for. I don't believe that the palliative will be shared to the less privileged, neither the populace. I'm condemning anything palliative. Okechukwu coming from Aja.
Thank you so much, Okechukwu from Aja. I appreciate you. You know, this palliative, since this issue of 180 trucks of rice, 5 billion naira to every state, the question is, why didn't you use this money to build our refineries?
Because it's not enough.
5 billion. That's about 180 million.
5 billion naira.
To each state, that's 180 million. Yeah. At least put the money in refinery. That's what people say. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, sir. What's your name and location?
Yeah, my name is Ijeoma.
Okay.
I'm calling from Ijeoma.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I want to talk about this rice prostitution. So, first of all, is this rice a foreign rice or Nigerian-made rice? That is number one. Then number two, how are we sure that this rice will reach everybody in each of the states? So, I don't see any need of sharing this rice because it's of nothing. It will not reach to anybody. So that money is supposed to use to do something important, at least build a factory or do one thing that will benefit each state, not sharing rice that will not reach them. By the time you know it now, they will start sharing it by bring your party card, bring your membership card, this party card before you collect. So I don't see any need of that. This government, I don't think they have any plan for this country. That's what I'm contributing.
Yeah, thank you.
And another thing is that if the rice is a foreign rice, is it not the same foreign rice they ban that it will not enter Nigeria, that this government go and import and share again? So let's just think about this thing. So that is it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Now, the question is whether it's a foreign rice or Nigerian rice.
I think it's Nigerian rice, if you go by the source, because they said, they were releasing this rice from our strategic reserves. We can't be storing foreign rice in our strategic reserves since we produce rice.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name and location? Hello.
Easy call from Idemu.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, are you there? I guess there is a bit of delay. I can hear you. If you can hear me, go ahead.
The thing is this, as regards this palliative, everybody is hungry. We, the government, the federal government.
Sorry, I have to let you go because the line keeps breaking. Okay, please, I think I have to let you go. Let me take another call. Hello. Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. What's your name? Quickly, you have a few seconds because our time is up.
My name is Bethel. I'm calling from Shoki, Lagos.
Okay, go ahead.
That I think this money they are bringing us for sharing for palliative or whatever they call. I didn't see that as something that has any impact in Nigeria youth. Actually, the thing that is if Nigeria government really want to help each division of which they are governed, they should bring something up that will help the whole people, the whole nation as a whole. Not bringing this money out that they want to use it to help people. Why few people will collect it? All of us are Nigeria. You people, I like what you people are doing. You people should also reason very well. Not that this is a Nigeria. We all Nigeria. We are women. Everybody knows very well. So this money, then bring it up.
Thank you.
If we're not going to go around anybody.
Thank you. Sorry, I have to cut you. My time here is up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. And Mr. Segun Shokbito, thank you also.
Budget, if you are playing at that level, and find where you can plug in and make the most of the fall. If you are not playing that high, just look for opportunities around you and do your business and make yourself happy.
Make yourself happy. Thank you so much. We'll be speaking with Segun Shokbito. He's a principal partner at Wood Regions Court Consulting. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. We'll be here again on Monday. He will be here again on Monday for another episode of the program. But I'll be here tomorrow for Business Around Town. We'll be talking export with Godwin Oyefesa. Keep it here. Coming up next here, it's Area Matter.